Brian Rozier, I'm OTDI, Learning Collaborative Environments.
So we're going to tag team a little bit on some of the technology for all of the rooms, but this classroom is specific for this particular part. Brian is going to do most of the touch control screen and its aspects, and I will help out with any of the hardware questions and what to touch and what not to touch. It's probably best if we all get close to the lectern area, because that's where all the stuff happens. The only things that are technology in the room right now that are not here are in the ceiling. There are speakers that are distributed throughout the room. There are 2 microphones in the ceiling for conferencing, so that if you're in a call, the wireless mics and the ceiling mics, the sound goes to the far end. You have a projector in the middle. There's nothing in any of these things that need to be touched. There is also a screen that comes down automatically. So they're in an emergency, or if you needed a screen to come down, there is.
If you wanted to use it, yeah, independent of AV, there's a wall switch.
There's a wall switch if somebody brought in their own projector or whatever. There is a wall switch, but for the most part. Hi. Can you sign the guest list here?
Yeah, sure.
So that's sort of the rough until we get to the important part, which is the lectern, which has a built-in PC in it. And it also has a place to plug in your laptop via HDMI or USB-C. If you plug in USB-C, you will also have the bring your own device for conference.
All the conference peripherals will come over with that.
So that will be the camera, which is back there, and the microphone. Audio will go to your computer if you use the C. If you use the HDMI, it is just video and audio to the room only.
There's also a wired HDMI on the front and a USB jack there. So if you were using HDMI, so your laptop doesn't have USB-C, you can use this conference USB and get the same BYOD conference peripherals.
Oh, yeah, correct. So if you didn't have this to plug in for conferencing, you could do those 2, you could do this, and that one that says conferencing brings the microphone and the camera into your computer so that you can conference from your own computer. You bring your own computer. On the table, there is a podium mic, a handheld mic for passing around, and a lapel mic. They pretty much just pick up and start working. This, if they aren't on, there's the on-off switch is right on the front. It lights up. It just starts to work. The batteries are rechargeable. Should never have to touch them. They're in here. In an emergency, there would be an emergency, but you can take that out and put a couple AA's in, but don't charge AA's. That's bad. And also, if one is dead and the other one isn't, they're the exact same battery pack, so you could change them out. 99.9% of the time, you're just going to want to use them. And when you're done with them, there's the little marks there. And it just goes like that and starts charging again. There's indicators to tell you when it's fully charged. Right now it's saying it's charging, but I just picked it up for a little bit. Okay, so 2 monitors. Brian's going to tell you a little more about what comes up on each monitor. Any questions on the hardware part of this? Okay.
It's pretty straightforward. Just real quick, our team, Learning Collaborative Environments, partner with the projects. We have the same kind of experience on all AV spaces, EHG departmental spaces, classroom pool spaces. So same program touch panel here, around the corner in the kitchen, the community space, the lecture hall, all the other classrooms. It's all the same program, same pretty much look and feel of everything. So to get in, I mean, it's the same if you've seen other spaces that we've done, it's the same touch panel. When you come into the room fresh, there's turn power on, select the source you want, projector come on, screen comes down. In this case, it's selected. the lectern PC or podium PC, depending on what verbiage we have in there. This one is not logging into OSU AD yet, so I can't log in. But for the in-room PC, we do dual monitors. So primary source, this guy should match what's on the projector. This is extended desktop, so if you're doing PowerPoint, you can have PowerPoint presenter notes over there. You can do, if you're in a Zoom call, Teams call, you can put your gallery view, that sort of thing, so you're not taken away from the presentation screen in the room. If you're doing PowerPoint presenter notes, by default, it's probably going to put things backwards. There's a button on the screen that will swap right away. If you go into PowerPoint before you start a presentation, you can change that default behavior so it doesn't do that on every single time. Mark said the document camera, the conference camera at the back of the room, those all show up as camera devices to the PC as USB devices, so those are available to your software client. The microphones are also available, and then of course audio playback. Black screen is an option if you want to have the projector off for a little bit or not. We changed other sources, and it's just right from the list. Document camera, as we said, we've got aux input listed, which is this guy here. We've got the HDMI cable, USB-C cable, and there's also a Crestron Air Media for wireless presentation. And just as you select through those, it should show up on the projector. It should also show up on the screen here. These should be things that hopefully are pretty familiar to everyone.
It does take a few seconds for it to do a switch sometimes on video, and that's normal for right now. So count to 5, then count to 5 again. If you don't have something, maybe there's a problem, but usually it's 10 seconds or less for it to switch. So it's not that it's wrong right now. They're looking for ways to speed it up, but it is not. Don't keep switching around, because then you're just making your time get longer. I'll put it there and let it sit for a little bit, and then you notice that it took about 3 or 4 seconds for it to switch from one input to the other, and that is normal.
Outside of source selection, there are a couple other buttons here. Not that it makes a difference on one. Wait, we'll go back to PC. On this bottom row here, the next button over is for the conference camera, so you can do PTZ controls to manually adjust. In this building, we're trying a camera that we haven't used before. It actually has auto tracking capability, so we've set it to the front of the stage. So once we get those all dialed in, it'll auto track someone at the front of the room. You can turn it off, and you have manual PTZ control, zoom, that sort of thing. There's volume control. Our standard is for a PC where we know we should have system tray for volume control. We set the system at a fixed value or fixed level, and you adjust from the system tray. Other devices, we don't know that, so you may have system tray and program volume right here for volume adjustments. And then there's also a wired mic adjustment, which would actually, it's a combination of the boundary mic here on the podium and this input jack on the front. If you need to bring something else in, they're paired together on that wired microphone control. Wireless, the two wireless are shared on a wireless microphone control. Other than that, the only thing left on here is the help screen, which is somewhere. That's the wrong. That's the wrong. That's classroom help, not service desk. And that's pretty much it. Power off button when you're done.
Conference out, is that the primary video coming out? Or is that,
When you're sharing content,
yeah, saying if you're
in the Teams, you'll be able to pick which one.
Okay.
Zoom, you may have that same choice as well.
Okay.
So I think you can choose either one, but you got to choose it. It knows that there's 2 displays being in the computer,
Yeah.
and so it usually, if there aren't 2 displays, it just does that one.
Okay.
So there was a time out there, and that's normal. If you wanted it right away, you can rate your experience, and it does it right away. And I think you should hit the button in the corner again, and it happen again, or how does that?
There's a shutdown now. There's a cancel button. I'm sorry. The shutdown now is the survey response. Cancel will say don't shut down and go back to what you were doing. When it does shut down, even if the system's off, you can go back through that if for some reason something's not synchronized.
Oh, I thought you hit another button. But
I have a secret button.
oh,
I have a service mode. If you hold the button there
there's
for a
no
little
button
bit,
down there.
it'll re-trigger.
That's all. You always have to say you liked it, and then it'll shut off right away.
And that's pretty much it. Any questions? Any other questions?
Do you guys want to come and play with it a little bit? I can get another computer up here and maybe play around. Do you have any concerns, you know, or you just want to get a little more comfort on it? We can put a.
Are there any issues with Mac users plugging in?
Just they're so artsy, those people.
Okay, so the issue that usually comes up there is HDCP and content protection. We have disabled HDCP on these two cable inputs. So the Mac should not be able to turn HDCP on if the input cable is telling it it doesn't exist or it's not enabled. So that should go a long way there. If they're trying to show something that does require content protection, the input here does have HDCP enabled, so it will be there if it's needed. That's the approach we're trying now.
The Apple on top, or unless you have content protection,
Yeah.
which would only be if you're playing a video that's content protected of some sort.
Everybody else outside of Apple does it that way.
Yeah.
Apple likes to save us all from everything just in case,
Right. Yeah.
if it's available. So.
Yeah. But if you put your Apple product here and it had content protection stuff, it would not show. You would have to plug in down there, right? Is that how that
Yes.
Oh, we tried.
Hey, let's give it a try. That's what we're here for. This is great. Fantastic.
That is assuming Kyle sets it up the way I thought we were saying. So.
And if it doesn't, we will make sure that that gets tested. All right, so you're gonna try the HDMI.
Let's go with the USB-C on this guy, because Kyle has something on that HDMI cable punch list.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right.
It's saying choose to mirror or extend.
That should be
coming
your
from your
mouse
laptop.
there. Look at that. It wants you to choose, but you can't get to it. That's fun.
What room
This is room 135.
135. Well, that's AirPlay. So that's through AirMedia.
So you could go that route as well. This
Yeah, you
was
need
more
a
of a
cable.
connection. So there's your code right there. So you don't even need to be here because you're wireless, but we weren't connected.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So that's how the
what
air
we're-
media works.
Yeah. Yeah, so these are all set up. The current generation AirMedia should have the Bluetooth beacon turned on, so you don't need to use the AirMedia app to do that pre-handshake to find it. It should find it through Bluetooth, and it's as close as you can get to native AirPlay experience without having Apple TV. But if you're PC, then the AirMedia client will give you the IP address.
Thank you very much. That
I
was
mean,
great.
you would only want AirPlay if you were an Apple user.
Except if you plug in with this, you can also top your battery off at the same time if you're USB-C charging. It's only 60 watts, so you'll probably get the, oh, that's a small power supply warning thing, but
you
won't be dead in the water.
Yeah.
What does
Good for
AirPlay
these classes.
bring microphone and camera over? I would assume not.
On here, no.
So you would still need to do this
If you want to
Yep.
do that, okay.
if you were
Yeah.
doing the conferencing. Correct.
Yeah, on top of the extra latency of doing the wireless to wireless, on top of the internet type of thing. So. The other thing that we did not talk about in here, this room has assistive listening, Sennheiser Mobile Connect. I don't think we have any signage up. That's what we're putting out in several other places across campus, and it's download the Sennheiser Mobile Connect app. So long as you're on Eduroam, it should automatically find everything on campus, and you pick the room you want from the list, and you have assistive listening.
And sit here and talking, and it's coming through his phone right there. And at real time.
Pretty darn close. Pretty darn close.
Yeah. That's great.
So, and that's the assisted listening. That's what we're rolling out in all the classrooms, the large classroom spaces we have in here, the community space, the teaching kitchen has one, and then the lecture hall and the innovation classroom also will have those once we get those those installs finished. So, that's about it. This is kind of the base. We kind of add some features from here in the next space, and then we take some and add some and move it all around. This is also very close. Room 393 up on the 3rd floor is also an EHE classroom. It's basically the same exact thing.
Yep. So we can go to the kitchen, and if you still have some questions.